but right now I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting here alone for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts making me feel very tired. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of my desk. Rubbing my forehead, I realize this is as good a reason as any to stay up for now and stop coming to class so early later. Eventually, I hear a tapping noise outside in the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in this class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lily stops at the door, looking hesitant as if she was a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar as if it was of importance to look prim when entering our classroom. "Excuse me?" She calls into the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. "Good morning, Lily." "Zhao, good morning. I didn't hear you come in." I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely. If I were to tell too big a lie now, it would sink me. Well, I was already here, just asleep until now. "Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance?" "No, she seems to come in only just before the bells ring, or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you?" "No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now. I didn't hear anyone else on my way here." I shouldn't have gotten up so early today, I guess. "You're chastising yourself for doing something that other people should. Punctuality is a good thing. I think so, anyway." "It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming up soon, and today is the deadline for event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. It could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today." Hi! Misha pops into the room with Shizune as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch. "Hi, Hee-chan." "Hi." "Look, it's the class representative. Hello." Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha's or Shizune's use of the word look. "Good morning." "Of course, you're not the representative of this class, right? "I'm not." Lily seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along at all. Then I realize that Lily might actually not know Shizune is present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to know who she's talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune being the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decide to help Lily out, for my own peace of mind more than anything else. "You're here early, Shizune, whatever your stupid name is." "You were here earlier, even earlier than us." Misha puffs out her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true. I was here earlier than them. So me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Like that I want to have sex with her, for example, and I'm flirting. I'm not very good at it, especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to gauge intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on. "Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk." "Why aren't you talking, Shizune?" "The festival is coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events. even the first years, except you. There's still time to hand it in, isn't there? Today! The deadline is today! You're certainly taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have had all the necessary paperwork days ago, but someone had to say the deadline. Please extend it. Yes, that was me. Planning something on the scale is not a small task, and a week is too small a time frame to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely. Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class's event? Handling the same matter for every class in the school and then some. The one who does that is me. Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Wow, she really is getting into the role. Lily doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizne. Did I say your name right a second ago? Aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left. Also, close your mouth, little fly. Might fly up all up in there. Please, Hazao, it's all right. Lily seems happy I'm taking her side, but I get a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think I've forgotten about it. I understand how important it is. Then, can I have it, please? Shizne, she might not have it on her at this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me. Students from my class. She emphasizes the last sentence much to my surprise. She knows about Shizne and Misha's efforts to rope me into the student council. I guessed it must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizne. This just keeps getting better and better. It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something that you should just be delegating away as class rep. It's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is really just terrible. They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick. Okay. Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizne doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge. That's why she says nothing. Lily, don't they... I'm gonna stop making that same joke now. Lily, don't they live here at the school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know? What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop off something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class? Lily opens her mouth to say something, but this was made in the year 2012, not our current events. But Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but she can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal. And what's with that attitude? I said that it's not something you should be delegating away. Are you the class representative or aren't you? Tell me the names of those 2 students. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself. One form isn't the full extent of what I'm supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she's doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she's becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Her sweet, bapalicious chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her fingers cheerfully around the edge of her glasses, knowing Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is. Of course, you do so much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you. Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without even a hint of sarcasm, which they were meant to have. Did I do that right? Shizune and Lily don't like each other, that much is clear, but this seems a little much. It seems like Lily has had enough and is ready to push back. I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. Oh God, she got her with the old "know you, it's over for you, Lily. Hand in your blindness, get out of the school, you're normal now." I don't think so. I didn't word that right. You're no longer differently abled. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. You're right, the difference between us is like heaven and hell. And it's not hard to guess which one you might represent. Kerpow, bulges blowing in the wind. The air between them ripples with the heat of their enmity. Just put that word on the screen. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looked like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. Sorry, I had to burp. He-chan, don't you slack off either. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking part in the festival, He-chan? You are, aren't you? Then, I hope you're going to do a lot more to make this... Right, I can go back and I can read that again through the power of no music. I can cut. Aren't you taking part in the festival, He-chan? You are, aren't you? Then, I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly than this person. Which one? Who are you talking about? Shizune? Oh, this is another moment of choice, each one giving a point to either party of blonde versus blurple. And, or just this is incidental to the route we're going for, so we're just gonna go with Lily because I liketh her moreith. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much, even if I wanted. That's right, you shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump right into it in his first week. Unlike you can with my pussy. Lily taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decide to back her up too. Yeah, you're being unreasonable with us both. Excuses, excuses. Miss Class Rep has had plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help with student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to making the festival a success. What can I say? I don't want to commit to you women. I just want to do work for you and be done. Yeah, but as I said back then, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune, and that's what she wants. Whatever. Forget it. I turn my back at them. I get back to my seat and shut my ears from the finale of the argument between Lily and Shizune. Eventually, Lily leaves our classroom and Shizune and Misha seat themselves without talking to me. I can feel Shizune's eyes burning into my back. She's probably angry at me, but I'm just as angry with her. I don't get why she had to drag me into the argument. It's probably because she's a bitch. I should probably stop being so misogynistic and saying pussy all the time. It's gonna make people think things which they should not. Hanako doesn't come to the... why is it so loud? Hanako doesn't come to the morning class at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. That should be pretty fun. I have a bit of catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, but I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. Ah, a good teacher. I know the type. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they're right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do, so I stay for a while, reviewing what we covered in class today. I write down the equations one more time because I'm an idiot and I'm uncreative and my only hobbies or watching Netflix and TV shows, so that's all I put in my dating profile, and I expect people to be much more interesting than me and carry all the conversations. I'm not just talking about women in this case. Everyone is terrible except for me. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with crowding in the hallways, and I'm just such a cool lone wolf like that. Everyone else is a sheep. I notice she's... Nobody point out how I make fun of Tazao for that after just stating a thing that can be interpreted as such myself. I notice Shizne and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizne signing down by the seashore so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there is pent-up anger in there. Misha's trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely manage to even understand her. Not a master with the bladed tongue, I see. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like Circe business. Shizne signs to the point where her wrists crackle. Jesus Christ. And Misha struggles to spit it out in word form, and I struggle not to burp while I talk. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters. What a loser, I can't imagine having that problem. And then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girl says. I wonder if they're finger twisters. So, why was my first thought that finger twisters are what you should do inside of a girl's bungus? Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down on their seats again. Wow, I'm so tired. She's hanging her head limply on the desk, looking exhausted. I'll use the opportunity to reconcile with Shizne a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in the school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before and after classes, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizne scoffs first. Shizne scoffs at me first, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me, but in the end she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. I should learn sign language, then I can stare at girls' hands all I want. As if I can't already, no one really cares if you look at their hands. She does it so well, it's almost like Shizne is actually speaking. Just makes me look like a weirdo, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. Although I probably already look like a weirdo because I kinda don't like making eye contact. Just something about it, I don't like how pupils look. They're creepy looking to me. She must have practiced it vigorously. Well, of course, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. But you're girls who don't have strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail, and this takes place in Japan, so if we shame ourselves, that's kind of the end of everything. We'll be like blacklisted from all employers. I heard that's a thing, like Nintendo and other companies have big lists of familial names of people not to hire based on social stuff. That's pretty cool. We should implement that everywhere and ruin the world. That's why there must be no flaws, I think that was encumbrances. No nothing that make the festival sort of perfect. Yeah, we're gonna go with that line read not to interrupt the music. Shizne's passionate speech and Misha's enacting are really oddly fitting of them. Except for the way I voiced them. Oh, hello. It's that dog. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom. most of her body hidden behind the door. Actually, that's more like 1/8 of it. Hey, playing delinquent again? Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Shizune stares at her probingly. I wish she would stare at me probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Baby, that's all I need to see. It's not true. Maybe she is showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it well. What is it, Hanako? Has Lily been here? Sorry, haven't seen Sato. She, came by in the morning, though. I think that's not a Canadian bastard. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What's she trying to do, study her? She's not a book. Shizune's not very smart if she thinks people are books. I guess she has glasses, so it might be in her nature to be a fucking dumb nerd. But of course Shizune isn't going to look away. And she's intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. Could someone please Photoshop Shizune's head onto that famous Natsuki from Doki Doki Literature Club picture? I am no good at photos, so I cannot. It's a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of two different extremes meet, it seems. I'm racist joke. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom, working on their festival project. But who knows where that woman is loitering at? We say woman to remind you that everyone in this game is 18, so you can think about them if you want to. Hanako nods quickly and retreats with haste to go think about that fact. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we are working really hard to make the festival happen. And driving other people insane along the way. Well, good luck with that. I stand up to leave, making my exit before either of them manages to berate me any more for slacking off. The halls are somewhat quiet as expected. Everyone must be in club meetings or at festival preparations, or both. Shizune's words about being a slacker echo in my head. I feel a bit guilty about not contributing, but I seem to lack the resolve to do something concrete about the matter. For the festival, it's too late, unless I can't helping Shizune and Misha, which I naturally don't. And clubs? I don't know. Maybe I'm not a club type of person. Halfway through the way from the school building to the dorms, I spot a figure in front of the dorms. It's Rin. It looks like she's working on a mural today too. I walk over to her, but she doesn't seem to notice me approaching. She's sitting on an upturned box, looking intently at the wall she's painting with a brush held between her toes. The mural has progressed considerably since yesterday, but it's still only half done as far as I can tell. More colors have appeared, and the twisted human-like figures have spread and increased in number. I have to say, the style's quite eye-catching and very unique. Not that I would be knowledgeable about art by any measurable scale, but it's very nice looking nevertheless. I clear my throat to get her attention, but not startle her so that her concentration won't break. Wait. She doesn't even turn to check who it is. I'll wait. "15 minutes later, I decide that her concentration is indeed unbroken, and also that I've waited long enough to warrant poking her gently on the shoulder to remind her of my presence. Rin turns her head mechanically to my direction, ending up staring at my crotch level. Oh, it's Hazel. I'd recognize that small cock anywhere. She can tell. I would feel a lot less uncomfortable if she would look at my face. An astute observation. Hard at work, I see. I could say the same to you. The conversation starts as if I hadn't been here for a quarter of an hour already, but it's not a concern. At least it starts. Looking good. It does. Layers of paint hiding other layers of paint. Mixing and shaping the human figures really create an impressive look, but Rin looks miffed. You shouldn't comment on works in progress. 7 years of bad luck. Sounds terrible. I guess I'll take it back then. Looks like shit. Still, it looks good. I wonder if I get 14 years of bad luck for thinking that. Rin turns back to look at her painting and pokes it with a big toe. Could you mix some of this color? I'm running out of it. Also doing your voice. She looks down at a half-empty bowl of the remains of the same pinkish paint in it. I didn't really intend to stay and help her with this project, though. I guess I didn't intend to do anything much. I look at Rin. She looks emptily back at me. Just this once. Rin picks up another brush and drenches it in another tone of pale red. There are dozens of similar bowls all around her working area. From the looks of the scene, she could have been sitting there for hours. I wonder if she has. That would mean she'd been skipping school though, which I of course wouldn't put beyond someone like Rin. I can't say I ever skipped school to work on anything for school, though I did once spend a lot of classes writing a short story instead of doing the work, and my teachers didn't really care that I wasn't paying attention to them at all or doing the work, because I was just usually a quiet kid who did whatever. So I got away with it that one time. If they would have said anything to me, I would have stabbed their hand into the table with my knife, because I had to get that story done. I did, and it was pretty good. I pour a little bit of white. Did I read that? How do I go back again? Is it backspace? It is not backspace. Is it up? It is not up. I don't remember how to... That I just clicked out of the window. That is also not how you go back. Text history. Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to... Oh, yes, I did read that. Okay, sorry. Just gotta make sure. I pour a little bit of white and red into the bowl, trying to match the color with the one already on the wall. I can't seem to get it right. It's really inconvenient of her to not mix enough in the first place. Getting it to be exactly the same tone will be impossible, but at least I can try to get as close as I can. Speaking of hard work, isn't that a huge workload for you? It's just such a big painting and all. Oh, I'm not old and bitter enough yet to think like that. I am. I guess you aren't. You guessed right. Legs hurt though. They feel like slugs. Slugs made of sea slugs. Slug my balls. Because of the position? Yeah, I like doing it in a horizontal position more, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't. But it can't be helped. Can't ask the wall to lie down. Lay down. They're different words. Saying that, she stretches herself a little, bending her legs and back far more than a human should flex. It's astonishing how effortlessly she manages her body around. There's a small flinch in her otherwise blank expression, a hint of pain maybe, as she stretches out her calves. Rin must have more stamina. Rin must have stamina and dexterity far above a normal person to be able to live like she does, but she's wearing out working like on this. Why push yourself so much? Take a break or something at least. Continue tomorrow if it's bad. This gives her pause. A long one too, feeling like a mental yawn. I don't think so, Hazao. I'm not pushing myself. Sure looks like you are. No, it's not about pushing or pulling or anything related to that kind of thing. There is this boy. A boy? Yes. Where? At the art club. And? He's blind. Oh. How can you paint if you're blind? No idea. So why is he there? That's the point. He is there. She really should speak more than one word at a time to make this feel more like a discussion and less like an interrogation. He can't really do anything that you'd call art, right?
But he comes there anyway, and paints. Why?
I don't know. Why?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
So...
He doesn't paint often, but I think his paintings are very interesting.
I'm sure they are.
I once tried that, painting with eyes closed. Wasn't too interesting, and cleaning up the floor took ages. Didn't try again. But he's becoming better at sculpting.
I see. Maybe she was trying to make a point with this. Maybe she forgot she had one. Seems like the art club is full of interesting people.
Not really.
Pretty blunt statement, and she totally missed the sarcasm. No.
Just like I said, they're not very interesting. I usually don't have much interest in people who are not interesting. Maybe you have.
Maybe.
But that boy is interesting. Maybe I'm like that boy, or maybe you are. Maybe everyone is. Doing things you can't do, just because you can. Like me and continuing to live.
That's pretty deep, I think, and I tell that to her. You're a deep one.
Nah, I'm a really shallow and thoughtless person. People say that to me all the time. Did you know that I can only think of 4 things at the same time? Money, bitches, power, bitches.
No, but now I do.
Right now I'm thinking of the second floor girls' toilet, ice cream flavored ice cream, the middle toe, and a haircut, all very attractive things to think about. I'm going to need a haircut.
Did she just do it? She shakes her head around vigorously, letting her short and messy hair ruffle wildly around. I can see that doing it is something she likes to do. We fall silent as Rin treads around absent-mindedly, poking some brushes around. The thought about the art club sticks in my head for a while longer. I'm feeling like I'm treading on very unknown territory with art. The way these meetings with Rin go, it's as though I'm starting a smoking habit or something. I should probably stop talking with her. It's not like I dislike her, despite the confusion of her being herself causes, and I don't dislike art either. I've even drawn for fun sometimes. I just don't have a real creative drive or any technical skill. So usually, if I were to draw something, I get white paper syndrome and just freeze completely. That, or I manage to draw something disfigured and probably get frustrated at my inability to put the picture in my head down on the paper, then call it quits without even really trying to make an effort. Rin clearly doesn't have this problem, but she frustrates me in another way. Being with her is like looking into a mirror that doesn't reflect anything.
Harry, what do you see in the mirror? For me it is nothing at all, because I have everything I want. A school, to be retroactively gay, and a young boy to do that first thing with. The second thing, I'm already doing the school, never mind.
It makes one question the sanity of the act. Rin sits down on her butt.
Dumbledore really got sort of senile in his old age, didn't he? He yelled at Harry Potter for that goblet of fire thing. That was the only movie I saw.
Rin sits down on her box, swaying from side to the last movie I saw the first 3. Rin sits down on her box, swaying from side to side, apparently comfortable with the uncomfortable silence. She's staring at me again, maybe over my shoulder. I can't quite figure out what her eyes are focused on.
Pro tip, as in the movie Pulp Fiction, find yourself you're comfortable being silent around. That is a better possible relationship than someone who constantly needs to have talk or you talk.
I'm thinking of leaving so she can carry on working undistracted, and that I can do whatever I'm going to do alone.
I wonder what that could be.
It's not like I have anything that must be done today. No, shoot.
Who?
Nobody. I just forgot to tell Hanako that Lily was looking for her. Do you know her from my class?
Oh, her. The mystery toilet girl. Now that sounds like a girl I want to know. That person is funny. I saw her going to the toilet 5 times during one recess 3 weeks ago. They still get recesses when they're 18 in high school. I'm sure it's the world record. It was very mysterious.
That's why you call her Mystery Toilet Girl?
What other reason could there possibly be? Well, if there is, it's an eternal mystery. I didn't follow her in there. 5 times in 15 minutes sounds like me when I drink beer kohal. Maybe it was the week before that? Could have been. Looking at her makes me hungry.
Don't say that.
It's because her burn scars look like bacon, as is the meme.
At least, not around here.
It's pretty fucked up to say out loud when I say it out loud like that.
Rin turns to look at me blankly, as if she's not sure why I reproved her. But she doesn't acknowledge understanding any more than before, so I give up at this point. So, do you want to eat dinner then?
No, not yet.
Rin has turned her hungry gaze back to the wall. She's probably going to eat it, looking slightly more energetic, or at least slightly less lethargic than she did before. It's as if the wall is an opponent she has to vanquish, something she must overcome before she can indulge in dinner. This is the feeling I get. A weird sense of empathy overcomes me and makes me smile a little to myself. For all her oddity, Rin is pretty cool after all. I'll be going anyway. Have fun. Rin has already grasped a brush and is dipping it in fresh paint, so of course she can't hear me anymore, or doesn't answer anything even if she does. I'm feeling tired, so I set my alarm clock to wake me up as late as I can afford, while still making it to the first class. The nurse's voice is almost nagging in the back of my head about morning jogs. I make a resolution to make up for it by going for a walk after school tomorrow. Amy won't care either way, I bet.